Would you just look at this? I cannot believe how stunningly beautiful this place is. There's a lot to see here. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the beautiful harbor town of Pigadia, the beach town of Diafani, and the mountain town of Olympos, plus the island's beautiful secluded beaches. Steeped in history and mythology, Karpathos is the second largest of the Greek Dodecanese islands after Rhodes. To get to Karpathos, I took the Sea Star Ferry from Rhodes, Old Town. This trip took around 4 hours and cost me $40 US. The ferry was very comfortable, on time, and dropped me right in the heart of Pigadia, the capital of Karpathos Island. Pigadia is the capital and main seaport of Karpathos. In ancient times, this was the port of call for the Argonauts traveling between Libya and Crete. The island is year-round home to 6,600 inhabitants. During the summer months, the island can see up to 20,000 visitors at a time, but then it pretty much shuts down in October. I am staying at a great place called the Odyssey Hotel Apartments. It has spacious rooms, is super friendly, and the rooftop has wonderful views of the harbor. There's supposed to be some beautiful little churches up on the hill behind the port, so I'm going to head up there and check those out, and then I'm on my way to the beach because it looks like it's going to be a beautiful beach day. Just to the south of the village of Pigadia are two lovely little chapels. Very easy to get to. The road takes you right up to them because they are still in use. The chapel with the cemetery, man, did I ever get a surprise there this morning. I opened the door and I was met with the most lovely artwork decorating the walls and the ceiling there. It was absolutely beautiful. It is a beautiful and easy walk over here, but it is pretty windy out here today. There is a nice long public beach within walking distance of Pigadia. But to get to the best beaches on Karpathos, it's best to rent a car. There are rental agencies all over Pigadia, but if you visit during the high season, I recommend booking in advance. Right now I'm at Lefkos on the west side of the island. There are several small beaches here. I'm going to go check those out, and then I'm going to head over to Apella Beach, the most popular beach on the island. But I have to tell you, the drive over here was stunning. This is some of the most dramatic mountain and ocean scenery I have ever seen in my life. Now this is what I'm talking about. Would you just look at this? I was not expecting these dramatic mountains and the views of this beautiful Aegean Sea. Karpathos is the most beautiful island. I can't believe it. So over here on Lefkos, there are several beaches. I just checked out a small one. It was really nice, but it didn't have any amenities there. And then I came around the corner and I was met with this one here behind me. It's in a nice protected cove, and it's a very small area. It has some small resorts around it. It looks absolutely lovely. Even though there's not a big town here, I bet this would be a great place to spend a vacation. From Lefkos, I drove over the mountains to the east side of the island. The scenery was breathtaking, and there were a few places to pull off the road and enjoy the views looking down on Apella Beach. I'm at Apella Beach, which is supposed to be the most beautiful beach on the island of Karpathos. It's only about 20 kilometers from Pigadia. So it's been a few weeks since I've had a really good beach day, and I'm really looking forward to this. Here in a little bit, there's supposed to be a guy coming through with drinks. I'm gonna kick back, rest for a while, and then get in this amazing, clear turquoise water. And would you look at this water? I thought the water in the Philippines was a beautiful turquoise color, but this is something else. So I rented a beach umbrella with 2 lounge chairs, 20 euros for the day. And the beach is a pebble beach, so I don't have to worry about dragging sand everywhere with me. This beautiful beach stretches for quite a distance. And it's actually known for being pretty windy out here, but I got lucky. There's no wind at all this morning. Apella is one place on Karpathos you don't want to miss. But if you don't get here early, parking can be an issue. Driving around Karpathos, you see a lot of churches, but there are loads of these little chapels. They're all painted bright white and usually with blue trim. They're very beautiful. Sometimes they're unlocked, sometimes they're not, but I always stop and check because there's always something cool inside. This morning I'm at Achata Beach. It was about a 20-minute drive from Pigadia, and it is really nice here. It's a small, secluded cove. The beach isn't huge, but it's still pretty nice. It's a pebble beach, and the cove is got high cliffs on each side, so the waves are very little. You can't feel any wind back here. And there's a cave on each side that's very popular to swim into. So I'm going to check that out this morning. The cliffs and the caves also provide some shade while out in the water. And if you don't want to rent a car, this would be one of the easier beaches to reach by scooter, as you don't have to go over any big mountains to get here. The next morning was cloudy and windy, so I decided to skip the beaches and headed to the mountains in search of Olympos. Not to be confused with Olympos, where the Greek gods rule, Olymbos, pronounced with a B, is not only one of the most famous villages on Karpathos, but actually in all of Greece. Described as a living folklore museum, this tiny village offers ancient traditions and picturesque views. What makes the village of Olympos so unique is that back in the 7th century, they lived down on the coastline, on the edge of the bay. But they were raided by pirates so many times, the entire population of the village moved up into the mountains. In moving up to the mountains, they really cut themselves off from the villages on the rest of the island. They were so isolated that many of their traditions, customs, and even their dialect remains intact today. Olympos sits on the side of a mountain, on both sides actually, and a ridge runs right down the middle. All along the top of the ridge are ancient windmills, and they picked a great spot to put them because it is super windy up here. The morning was quite cold up on the mountain, but I found a small cafe where I was able to warm up with a cup of Greek coffee and a pastry. Then as soon as the temperature warmed up, I headed back out to explore this beautiful and fascinating village. After leaving the mountains, I made my way down to Diafani. This is the one town on the island, other than Pigadia, that can be reached by the Sea Star Ferry. The beautiful Diafani Beach is located right in the middle of Diafani Village. 10 meters wide and 200 meters long, this beautiful pebble beach is almost never crowded. With clear water and no waves, it seems like the tourists kind of pass it by as they go through town, but this is a beautiful little beach area. So I was driving along and I saw this secluded looking beach down here and I had to stop. I'm not going to try to get down to it. It looks a little risky to me and the waves are pretty big out there. But even though I can't get down there and get in the water, it is so beautiful here. It's just a lovely outlook. I'm glad I stopped. I have really grown to appreciate destinations where I can easily escape the crowds and find places like this beach. With its rough waves and steady winds, it might not appeal to most people, but for me it's the perfect spot to relax, knowing that I could spend the entire day and I would have this beautiful spot all to myself. And the great thing is, Karpathos is covered with places like this. So I actually did find a way down to this beach, and of course I cannot get in this water. It's just a little too rough for me today, but it is beautiful down here. Karpathos is a windy island. Not every day, but maybe every other day. And the east side is definitely not as windy as the west side. And it's a windy day today, but I wanted to have a beach day. So I'm down at the very bottom of the island on the tip. There is a beach down here that sits right next to these cliffs with a mesa on top, Theodoros Beach. And it's protected and there's no wind here, so I'm gonna have a nice beachy afternoon despite the wind. I didn't know what to expect from Karpathos, since I've only been to one other Greek island so far, and that was Rhodes. And the two islands are pretty different. But the mountains are more dramatic and the beaches are more beautiful than anything I ever expected. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe, because there is so much more to come.